Hello students, we are discussing unit 3, that is electrochemistry. So in our last class we have discussed Nernst equation, that means the relationship between electrode potential and concentration of electrolytic solution. And after that we have learned application of Nernst equation to determine the EMF of a cell, and then we have derived two equations. One is relationship between the standard EMF of the cell and equilibrium constant of the cell reaction, and then we have learned the relationship between Gibbs free energy and the standard EMF of the cell or E naught cell. So in our today's class we will discuss conductance of electrolytic solution. So our heading is conductance of electrolytic solution. So to learn conductance, at first let us discuss resistance. And it is the opposing force which resists the flow of current or electricity through any material. Okay, and the resistance is always directly proportional to the length of the material, and the resistance is inversely proportional to the area of cross section of the material. Okay, so combining these we will get R proportional to L by A. This implies R equal to, we have to put a constant, and that constant is known as rho, and it is called resistivity. So in this equation R is resistance, okay, L equal to length of the material, A equal to area of cross section, of the material, okay, and rho is resistivity. Rho is resistivity. Okay, now we have to discuss conductance, and conductance is represented by G, and it is the opposite of resistance, and it is defined as the ease with which electricity or current is passed through any material. Okay, and conductance equal to 1 by R equal to, so when we will inverse the resistance, the result will 1 by rho into A by L. This implies G equal to 1 by rho will give a new constant which is called kappa, and it is called conductivity into A by L. Okay, so this is the equation to determine the conductance of any material or conductance of an electrolytic solution. Okay, so the unit of resistance, unit of R is ohm. So since conductance is inverse of resistance, therefore unit of G is ohm inverse or Siemen, a new term which is known as Siemen. Now we will discuss what is conductivity or specific conductivity. The conductivity is also called specific conductivity. So let us consider an electrolytic solution, okay, in which two electrodes are present and their area of cross section is capital A and the length between them is L. Okay, so when A equal to 1 meter square and L equal to 1 meter, that means the area of cross section is 1 meter square and the length between them is 1 meter, then G equal to kappa into 1 divided by 1, ultimately 1. So then G equal to kappa. So the conductivity or specific conductivity is conductance of an electrolytic solution having area of cross section 1 meter square and the length 1 meter. Okay, and combining them we will get when the volume of the solution is 1 meter cube. So the conductance of an electrolytic solution having volume 1 meter cube is called conductivity or specific conductivity. Now the unit of conductivity is, unit of kappa is, okay, so we have get kappa equal to G into L by A, G into L by A, so equal to the unit of G is, the unit of G is Siemen, okay, the unit of length is meter and area is meter square, therefore Siemen per meter or Siemen per centimeter. So we have learned what is conductance. After that we have learned what is conductivity or specific conductivity. Conductivity or specific conductivity is the conductance of an electrolytic solution having volume 1 meter cube or having area of cross section 1 meter square and length 1 meter. Okay, and the unit of kappa, the unit of kappa is Siemen per meter or Siemen per centimeter. Now let us discuss molar conductivity. So molar conductivity, and it is represented by lambda m. So we have one electrolytic solution and the amount of solute present in it is 1 mole. Then the conductivity of the solution is known as molar conductivity and it is represented by lambda m. So the conductivity of a solution having 1 mole of electrolyte is known as molar conductivity, and the relationship between molar conductivity and specific conductivity is this one, lambda m equal to kappa divided by C. Here kappa is specific conductivity, okay, and C is concentration in mole per liter, okay, or lambda m equal to kappa into 1000 divided by m. Here m is concentration in mole per centimeter cube. So when we will express the concentration or we will convert the concentration into mole per centimeter cube from mole per liter, okay, then we have to multiply 1000 in the equation. So this equation gives the relationship between the molar conductivity and specific conductivity of an electrolytic solution, okay. Now the unit of lambda m is, okay, to determine the unit we have seen that the unit of kappa is Siemen per centimeter, okay, and in case of m the unit is mole per centimeter cube, mole per centimeter cube. Therefore, the unit will same in centimeter square per mole. Okay. This term will convert it into centimeter to the power minus 2, and finally it will become centimeter square. So same in centimeter square per mole. So this is the unit of molar conductivity. So we have learned what is specific conductivity. So specific conductivity is the conductance of an electrolytic solution having volume 1 meter cube. That means the volume will always remain fixed and the volume is 1 meter cube. And after that we have learned molar conductivity, and molar conductivity is the conductance of an electrolytic solution having 1 mole of electrolyte. Okay, and the relationship between molar conductivity and specific conductivity is lambda m equal to kappa divided by C, or lambda m equal to kappa into 1000 divided by m, but the unit of m is mole per centimeter cube. So after that we have learned what is the unit of lambda m, and the unit of lambda m is same in centimeter square per mole. Now we have to discuss how both molar conductivity and specific conductivity vary with dilution. That means with decrease in concentration. So our heading is variation of molar conductivity and specific conductivity with dilution. Variation of molar conductivity and specific conductivity with dilution. Okay. So let us consider two electrolytic solution. In first one we have 1 mole electrolyte, and in second one the volume is fixed, that is 1 meter cube. Okay, 1 meter cube volume. Now the conductivity of this solution is known as molar conductivity, since we are considering 1 mole of the electrolyte. And in case of molar conductivity, the number of moles is always fixed. Now we have to dilute the solution. So to dilute the solution, always remember the number of moles will fixed, but we can increase the volume of the solution, okay, by adding some extra solvent. So when we will add some extra solvent, then the ions will freely move and the molar conductivity will increase. Okay, and in this case the volume is always fixed, so we cannot increase the volume of the electrolytic solution, but to dilute the solution we can add less amount of electrolyte in the solution. Okay, volume will always remain fixed, that is 1 meter cube, but to make it dilute solution we will add less amount of electrolyte. So in this case the amount of electrolyte will decrease, and hence the specific conductivity always decreases with dilution. So always remember that the molar conductivity of an electrolytic solution always increases with dilution, and the specific conductivity of an electrolytic solution always decreases with dilution. Okay, so in exams questions are asked, explain how molar conductivity and specific conductivity vary with dilution. So you have to write the molar conductivity increases with increase in with dilution, and the specific conductivity decreases with dilution. Okay, now we will discuss variation of molar conductivity with dilution for both strong and weak electrolytes. There are two types of electrolytes. One is strong electrolyte and another is weak electrolyte. So the electrolytes which completely dissociated into their constituent ions are known as strong electrolytes. Okay, suppose we have sodium chloride. So when we will make an aqueous solution of sodium chloride, then the sodium chloride will completely dissociated into Na positive and Cl negative. Okay, so sodium chloride is an example of strong electrolyte, and in case of strong electrolyte, one equation will follow. That equation is lambda m equal to minus A into root over C plus lambda m naught, and this equation is known as Debye-Hackel-Onsager equation. Debye-Hackel-Onsager equation, and this equation is similar to equation of straight line, that is y equal to minus mx plus c. So when we will plot the variation of molar conductivity with square root of concentration C, then we will obtain a straight line with slope equal to minus a. Okay, and when we will extrapolate the graph, then this portion will give the intercept, and intercept is equal to lambda m naught, and lambda m naught is known as limiting molar conductivity. So we have studied that when the concentration decreases, then the molar conductivity always increases, and when the concentration becomes 0, okay, that means the solution become infinite dilution, or at the infinite dilution the molar conductivity will increase up to a maximum value. After this value the molar conductivity will not increase. Okay, and this maximum value or this limiting value is known as limiting molar conductivity. Limiting molar conductivity. And in case of strong electrolytes, we can determine the limiting molar conductivity from the graph. Okay, the intercept will give the limiting molar conductivity. But let us consider weak electrolytes. So weak electrolytes are those electrolytes which do not completely dissociated into constituent ions. That means in the solution of acetic acid we will obtain all the three acetic acid, acetate ion and H positive ions. Okay, that means undissociated acetic acid will always remain in the solution, and in case of weak electrolyte the degree of dissociation increases with dilution. Initially the weak electrolyte will dissociate into less extent. After that, when the solution will become a dilute solution, then the degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte increases. Okay, so about this you have learned in class 11 ionic equilibrium, Ostwald's law of dilution. Okay, so now when the concentration is higher, then the degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte is low. Okay, hence the molar conductivity is also less. But when the concentration decreases, the degree of dissociation increases. That means the resultant ions will increase, and hence the molar conductivity will also increase. Therefore, initially the molar conductivity is low when the concentration is higher, then the molar conductivity will increase with dilution, and then the graph will become parallel to the y-axis and it will never meet with the y-axis. That means we will get an exponential graph, and this one is for strong electrolyte. So this graph represents the variation of molar conductivity with dilution for weak electrolyte. Initially, when the concentration is higher, the molar conductivity is low, and then when the concentration decreases, then the molar conductivity increases, since in case of weak electrolytes, the degree of dissociation increases with dilution. Okay, and at infinite dilution, that means when the concentration becomes 0, then the molar conductivity will maximum and the graph is an exponential graph. And we have seen that for weak electrolyte, the graph will never meet the y-axis. Therefore, we will not able to determine the limiting molar conductivity or lambda m naught of weak electrolyte from the graph. Okay, but for strong electrolyte we can determine from the graph. So to determine the limiting molar conductivity of weak electrolytes, there is one law, and that law is known as Colera's law of independent migration of ions, and about that law we will discuss in our next class. So in our today's class we have learned what is conductance and then conductivity or specific conductivity. After that we have learned molar conductivity and relationship between molar conductivity and specific conductivity. Then we have learned how both molar conductivity and specific conductivity vary with dilution or with decrease in concentration. And then we have seen that the specific conductivity always decreases and molar conductivity always increases with decrease in concentration. Then we have learned how molar conductivity of both strong and weak electrolytes vary with dilution, and we have plot graph or we have represent graphically how they vary with dilution. So that's all for today's class. In our next class we will discuss Colera's law and we will solve some numericals related to specific conductivity, molar conductivity, and Colera's law of independent migration of ions. Thank you.